Dear wine drinkers, today's episode is going to be about the cost of producing wine in such beautiful areas like the Douro Valley behind us.
Keep watching. So today we came to Quinta da Poeira, which is very dramatical, spectacular winery in the beating heart of Douro Valley, and we will try to show you how difficult it is to produce wines in such beautiful circumstances.
Yes, exactly. The thesis we will try to prove is that the more beautiful the area for production of wine, the more expensive the actual process is going to be, and hence the more expensive the wines are going to be. So we love the Douro wines, and we know you have questions why they are sometimes a little bit expensive.
Yes.
We want to answer that question. We want to show you and talk to some people who actually make the wines in some of the toughest conditions within the valley.
With me there is Jorge Moreira from Quinta da Poeira.
That's it.
Yes, and Poeira actually means dust, because we are in a dusty place, beautiful but dusty place. And I want to ask you about this amazing winery. It looks amazing, but come on, you barely have few vines there.
Yeah, this is, this is so steep that is difficult to plant.
Exactly.
So you have to choose if you want to have plants or you can be able to mechanize your vineyards.
How steep it is?
This is the less steep. When you put vinho alto, is 35%.
Okay.
This is double that. It's 70%. It's so steep.
For me, even that is steep because it's difficult to go up. But then?
Yeah, for us this is perfect because we can plant vinho alto, so we can put a lot of plants in the same land and mechanize at the same time. So for us this is beautiful.
Okay.
But most of our reality is not like that. It's like this, that you have, if you want to mechanize, you have to put 2,000 plants per hectare.
Wow.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
So, and another way that you can do it is, when it's very steep, is to plant it very, very close to each other. And we have a lot of plants there, but the problem is no tractor goes there.
Yes.
So there you go do everything by hand or with a horse. So it's not easy.
So you are using actually horses?
Yes, in this vineyard and that vineyard, the only way you can mobilize the soil is with horses.
Amazing.
And we do it.
Yes.
We do it.
So actually you have very little number of plants per hectare.
Very little.
So also you can make much less wine from that hectare.
And it's a big problem because you see, you have all this land that we have to treat. For instance, this we just cut by hand, the weeds. You have to pay money and spend money cutting and treating all the land, but the percentage of land that is productive, that has vines, is almost nothing. You see this. So you have 1 hectare. In other places in the world, in 1 hectare you produce 10, 50 tons per hectare. Here you have 2, 3. So it's almost
amazing.
nothing.
Yes.
So it's a fight. It's a fight to balance the costs. The cost that the money that you have to spend to treat the land, and the money that you can receive from the fruit, that is very little. And at the same time, my wine is called Poeira, because this is very dusty. Why? Because it's very dry and very hot. So it's very difficult. It's very difficult for the plants. They can't produce a lot because otherwise they die. They have to make a mechanism to survive, that they produce very little. Because in these harsh conditions of poor soil, no water, a lot of heat, the only way the plants can survive is producing small quantities. Okay,
let's talk about this climate. We are here now, it's like 6th of May, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's really hot for me.
Today it will be 25 degrees.
In May.
Spring, beginning of spring.
Exactly. Yeah. So how hot it is during summertime?
40, 45.
Amazing.
Yeah. But that's in the shadow.
That's in the shadow, come on!
It's when you are in the shade. If you are here, it's much hotter.
So how do you deal with that? How do you as men deal with that, and how do plants deal with that?
Us, we work very early in the morning, and sometimes we stop in the middle of the day, and then we work a little bit in the end of the day. Or just work in the beginning of the morning until 1 o'clock and stop.
Okay.
And it's very hard. We have to drink a lot of water, and it's really difficult.
No wine.
No wine. In the past, it was wine, and the people drank a lot of wine, but they drank too much that they were drunk all the time,
Yeah.
and it was not good for them, not
And
for
that's
the
why
world.
also wine is better now, because you don't drink
Exactly.
and walk.
Now we know what we are doing.
Yes. Okay.
And the plants, they have mechanisms that they close the stones, they stop breathing to survive.
Yes.
Like they hibernate from the
Yeah,
sun when
yeah.
it's so hot, so hot, so hot, to survive.
Okay.
They produce very little fruit.
Fruit, yeah.
They produce little shoots, not a lot of leaves, to try to protect themselves. But here we have something in Douro that is very good for the climate change and this global warming.
Yeah.
Because we have many different grape varieties. So we have more than 100 different grape varieties, and some of them are very well adapted to fight against the heat. Here, for instance, we have in average 600 millimeters of rain, but many years we have 400. For instance, in 2011 we have close to 200.
Oh.
It's like in the desert.
Yes.
It's nothing. So our plants and our grape varieties are very well used to this intense stress.
Okay, so that's interesting to say that more varieties there are, more we are prepared for the changes of climate.
When you have big diversity,
Yeah.
there's some plants that are not prepared,
Yes,
but the others
exactly,
are.
yes.
So we can go and pick and choose and have more of the ones that
Yeah.
are well prepared, and we don't use so much the ones that are not prepared.
Also, like, I see the vines here, but I see the vines there as well. So there is like different sun exposition.
And
yes?
this is really important.
Yeah.
And that's why I bought this property 20 years ago, when the people didn't talk so much about climate change.
Yeah.
But I was always about freshness in the wines. I always thought that to make Douro wine and not port, it was very important to preserve the freshness, the acidity. So I chose this vineyard that is completely north-facing. So we have sun now because it's 11 in the morning, but in the afternoon the sun will be there. So no direct sunlight in the afternoon. And in the afternoon is when comes the real
really
heat.
hot sun, yeah.
So my vineyard is completely protected from the hot sun in the afternoon. So my vineyard is very well adapted to this climate change. For instance, the other side is the opposite.
Yes.
So they'll have all the sun in the afternoon.
in a few hours. In few hours you will see.
When it's too hot for the plants to make photosynthesis. So we want the plants to make as many hours of photosynthesis possible to transform the energy of the sun into the beautiful flavors that we have in the grapes. But most of the time, it's too hot in the afternoon, they can't use it.
Okay. Can you, for example, irrigate here? Is it possible?
It's difficult because we don't have a lot of water. So when the vineyards that are close to the river, yes, it's possible. But most of the Douro, we don't have enough water to irrigate. And I was saying all these things that is so difficult, so low production, but there's something that is good.
Yeah.
Because when you have so little in terms of quantity, you have huge quality.
Yeah.
So we make beautiful wines that almost live forever with incredible complexity. And this is because of all these things that we say together. Great grape varieties, big diversity in terms of vineyards and location, little water, a lot of sun, low production, great quality of wines.
Okay, I think this is a good moment to taste something.
Yeah, okay.
And talk maybe about how it influences the price of the bottles as well.
Okay.
Okay, super.
You know why this is like this?
No?
For the horses to come down.
Really?
Yes.
Because this is where you work with the horses?
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
I never saw something like this. Like,
so this is...
Anybody wants to work here, except the horses who doesn't have anything to say?
Yeah, for the horses it's easy. They have 4 legs, for them it's the same. For people with 2 legs it's tough. This is really steep and it's really hard to work. It's difficult to find people to come here.
Yeah.
I have to pay them extra.
Yeah. How much more?
30% more in
Wow.
average. And even so, people don't want to come.
Yeah.
Especially to pick the grapes.
They need to be also in good shape. How much minutes do it takes you to go from down there up here?
So I don't know, maybe 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Because you have to stop. You can't do it.
And you are in shape.
I'm in shape, but But in the end, this is what Douro is all about. This old vineyard, many different grape varieties. Grape varieties that I don't even know. I look at them, I don't know what they are. Beautiful complexity, huge diversity. Some years, some will dry out because it's too hot. Some years some will not get ripe. But in the end, we have a wine that you are going to taste with a complexity, with a silky structure, with a lightness that I think it's impossible to have any other place in the world.
This is amazing.
Big competition between the plants, very narrow spacing. Here we have more than 5,000 plants per hectare, much more. And big competition. Every plant produces just a little bit.
So more plants per hectare, but less fruit per plant.
Yes, this is 200, 300 grams per plant.
Wow.
But in the end, because you have so many plants, the production is not so bad.
And how old are the vines?
This vineyard was planted in 1950.
1950.
So 72 years.
Wow.
Now, it's the first time I opened this bottle here.
And this is the bottle with the grapes from this vineyard.
Yes. This you are tasting exactly, you are going to taste exactly what you are seeing.
Chin chin.
So you see, you smell the fruit, but also you smell these bushes, these trees. It has this forest character.
Yeah, a little bit like Garrigue in the Languedoc, in the southern part of France.
But I think beautiful aromatic of ripe fruit, like cherries, but not too ripe, always with freshness. Great concentration, silky mouthfeel, long. I think you taste these wines, you see how hard it is to work here, but you taste wine again and you think it's worth it.
Yeah. Also, you said concentrated, but it's not a beast.
No.
Because sometimes you...
Concentration of flavors.
Yeah.
Concentration of texture, not concentration of volume of alcohol or
Thomas,
of
you want
tannins.
some?
Yes, I want to try a little bit as well.
And even for Douro standard, this is not a high alcohol wine. Normally, this vineyard is 12.5. This is a little more. This is 13.2.
You don't feel it, even from a hot vintage like 2017.
But because 2017 was really hot.
Really hot, yes. And I like the tiny grained tannins.
Yeah.
They are really delicate.
Of course, like almost all the wines that we have here in Douro, the red wines are food wines.
Yes, yes.
Portuguese, always eat with wine and almost never drink wine without food. So for us, food and wine always go together.
Yeah.
So the perception of acidity, the perception of tannins, the sense of sweetness, for us, in our mind, is a little different from the rest of the world because we always think it together with food.
Again, I see forest around, because in both of your vineyards we saw forest around. How important is forest for us today and with climate change and with everything?
It's really important. If you want to protect the environment, the biggest thing that you have to do is to keep the biodiversity. In the past, in Douro, it was just vineyards. We used to spray everything with herbicides, pesticides. We were working like in the moon, and the diseases and the bugs and everything goes to the vineyard because there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Now, if you have forests, if you have orange trees, if you have cherry trees like you have there, if you have olive trees, and you have all this diversity, it helps to promote a balance that you need to use so much chemicals.
But at the same time, for example, you have how many hectares in total with the forest?
We have 17.
17. And how much you use for the vines? Only 10.
11, sorry,
11. So also because we wanted to talk at the end about the prices of the wine. Because sometimes with Tomasz we have this discussion with our wine drinkers who watch us, why the wines sometimes are more expensive than the other wines. Sometimes people ask me, why should I pay 20 euros instead of 7 euros? I don't see any difference.
There's two different things. With the costs, it's huge. You know, you have to do everything by hand or with a horse maximum. So it's very difficult. It's very time-consuming, and the main cost in a vineyard is the cost that you pay to the workers. So it's very expensive. The production is very low, but at the same time, there's another thing. This vineyard normally, after all the selection, I make 2,000 bottles.
Yeah.
This year it was very good, so it was 2,500 bottles. So you are tasting something that is really unique. And very small quantity, and that will outlive you. So I'm sure that I will die, and this wine will be in great shape.
That's amazing.
So if you put all this together, this is really not expensive.
Yes, guys, this is not Carlo Rossi, okay? Normally, when we are visiting different vineyards, we ask at the end the winemaker, can we come and do harvest with you? I will not ask this question here.
Please. We need all the help we can get, so you are most welcome.
I can be like cheerleader, you know? Yeah. Yes, you can do it!
So I was behind the camera, but I had so much fun filming this. It's amazing. Your vineyards are amazing, and the wine is super amazing as well.
Beautiful.
So thank you very much for having us here.
No, thank you for coming.
And you can find this wine in Poland, which is very important.
We will write also down below where you can find it, so you can actually buy it and you can try it. You can probably specifically try this wine as well. Yeah. So when you're watching this, you can actually have a sip of the wine and feel what we're feeling right now.
And see if you agree
exactly.
with what we said.
Yes.
Thanks for being with us, and I hope you enjoyed it. We will see you next week at 5 o'clock again. Remember, please drink responsibly. Comments below, thumbs up if you like the video, and
come to Douro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Come to Douro.
Visit me.
Bye.
Bye.